more about Secretary Nielsen's recent visit to the border, where she spoke about cracking down on illegal immigration. That same day, Democratic Congressman Raul Grijalva traveled to Nogales, Sonora to meet with families seeking asylum at the port of entry. Both had very different messages about what's at stake. After his visit, Congressman Grijalva came to our studios for an interview. You actually, as a sitting congressman, crossed the border and went to speak with some of these families. Yes. Why do that? What's the value in that?
I think it's important to, even if it's just me or it's others, to humanize this issue, to let the American people know we're not talking about objects or just some statistical number. We're talking about living, breathing human beings, children that are here in the most desperate of situations, turning themselves in with the hope, not the guarantee, that they would be granted asylum and save themselves from a worse fate in the country of origin that they came from.
The number of immigrant families that we're seeing coming through the U.S. ports of entry requesting asylum, at this point dozens if not hundreds. Is this a crisis?
If we don't act on it and follow the law, it can become a crisis, where you have a backlog that isn't dealt with, where you have people that are voluntarily turning themselves in, following the law and saying, I want an opportunity to go through the process to state my case for credible fear. We forget that we're following a process here that has existed for decades upon decades in this country, and that if we have full capacity of staffing and that we make independent assessments about credible fear, then many of these are going to qualify, no doubt about it. Some won't, but they're not asking for a guarantee, they're asking to be part of that process.
In Nogales, Arizona, Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen did say the border is in crisis. She said her agency plans to refer all southwest border crossings for prosecution, with no exceptions for families with children.
It appears our critics want a two-tier legal system. They think illegal aliens should get different, perhaps better treatment than U.S. citizens because they happen to be illegal aliens. No jail if they have a family, no critical consequences if they have children. I'm here today to tell you differently. If you smuggle illegal aliens across our border, we will prosecute you. If you cross the border illegally, we will prosecute you. And if you make a false immigration claim, we will prosecute you. The lawlessness has to end.
Secretary Nielsen clarified that children separated from their parents would go into the custody of Health and Human Services. Congressman Grijalva objected to the strategy.
Even if you don't agree with the whole idea of accepting these refugees, the thought of ripping children out of the arms of their moms is offensive and repugnant to everybody. The fact remains that we dehumanize these people and their kids if we make this all about enforcement only.
The number of family units apprehended by agents in Arizona saw a sharp increase this fiscal year compared to 2017. In the Tucson sector, apprehensions are up nearly 70% from 1,400 to 2,400, and in the Yuma sector, it doubled from 3,900 to 7,900. As for drugs, agents have seized more than 280 pounds of the opioid fentanyl since October, already outpacing the amount seized for the entire fiscal year in 2017.
This tile was hollowed out.
Congressman Grijalva says stopping the flow of opioids into the U.S. means prioritizing enforcement at the ports.
Let's be realistic here. We're going to talk about saving lives. Let's talk about demand, supply, what the role of our ports of entry are in terms of 88% of all confiscations of illicit drugs, and primarily the components, heroin, and the components for opioids in this country are seized at the ports of entry. So one would think that the logic would be to technology, infrastructure, and finally staff those ports of entry with the way they should be.
Congresswoman Martha McSally, who led Secretary Nielsen's visit to the border, told reporters why she believes the border wall in its entirety needs improving.
As a fighter pilot, I try and look at it like we need to build situational awareness and operational control. Situational awareness means that if there is some sort of breach, whether it be over, through, or under the international boundary or the wall or whatever barrier we have, that it needs to be detected. Same thing coming through the ports of entry, it needs to be detected. So that's working on, again, the barriers, the sensors, the airborne assets, the other technology, and the manpower to be able to detect that. Secondly is operational control. We've got to be able to do something about it. Just because you see see it doesn't mean you can get to it to interdict it. And those two things are still not where they need to be to say our southern border is secure.
Congresswoman McSally also touted her bill to boost border security, which authorizes building a wall, adds 5,000 Border Patrol agents, and offers DACA recipients a 3-year renewable status. Congressman Grijalva criticized the bill for not offering so-called dreamers a path to citizenship. It's one of 4 bills the House could potentially debate and vote on. Are you disappointed in Democratic leadership that perhaps wasn't able to push forward a plan that eventually, made everyone happy?
I was very disappointed with the Senate. The opportunity to send us something. The House has been reluctant we're going on 4 years now, to do anything, maybe 6. It needed to come from the Senate, and the failure there, and the failure of some Democrats to hang with that issue and be supportive was very disappointing.
You've been in D.C. a long time now. How is the tone different right now?
It's been different for the last 18 months. That there's a frustration among the American people, and I think there's also a desperation. We have to conquer some majorities, either in the House or in the Senate. The Democrats do, to kind of put a check and balance in this administration. If we don't do that, then I think the times will get even more desperate.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.